Hello everyone. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for refusing to pay my sister's wedding expenses after she called my child a mistake? So, I, F32, Deanna, am the eldest of 5 siblings, and I've taken on the role of the family caretaker for as long as I can remember. I helped our parents until their passing, and, frankly, it's exhausting. Dad died of brain cancer 3 years ago, and it was heartbreaking to watch him deteriorate over time, and Mom passed peacefully overnight after a long hard battle with breast cancer earlier this year. So as the oldest, I just sort of became the de facto parent. I don't mind as I love my siblings, and it's kind of my thing to big sister friends and family a lot. I'm sort of ship's counselor, and I financially help out my family. I don't mind, as I work in tech, have a side gig doing art, and inherited land and money from Mom and Dad, all that to say it's no real loss. A few years ago, I adopted my cousin's Charlie M45 child, who I will just use her nickname Decker. My baby loves kickboxing. After my cousin went to prison for murdering the Decker's mother in an alcohol and drug-fueled rage, which is too long a story to add here. It was a chaotic year of mourning, paperwork and court hearings, but the adoption was finalized when the Decker was 5. Now, she's a happy, healthy 13-year-old who calls me Mom. She's in therapy, and has been since I legally could send her, as she witnessed her mother's death, and I couldn't be prouder of how resilient she is. She's my girl, my rock star, my whole heart, and I call her that, literally my heart. Fast forward to my sister's, Clara, F30, upcoming wedding. I was thrilled for her at first, and she asked me to be MOH. I cried in joy and offered for my wife Honey, because we like the incredible LOL, F40 and I to pay for it. Don't worry, I asked Honey first. But during a bachelorette dinner I set up, she made a hurtful comment about my daughter, calling her a mistake and saying I shouldn't have taken her in. I stared at her and asked her what she meant, and she said it wasn't like I was supposed to even have kids, as I am married to another woman, then said no hate or anything and laughed, but then she doubled down that Decker is likely damaged and a handful. Guys, Decker is the sweetest child alive. I mean, she is a teen, so yes, sometimes she can get challenging or rebellious here or there, but when I say she is my whole heart, I mean it. She made us a family, and made our house a home. She smiles easy, cries openly, and has the emotional intelligence I wish I had myself. She always asks how are you doing, and she really means it, willing to listen to people. But she's a damaged mistake. I felt like a character in a dark, twisted episode of a sci-fi show. Defending my choice to adopt felt like fighting the Borg, like I just wouldn't assimilate. I didn't laugh it off with my sister and her friends. I just stared at her in pure disbelief. I think she knew I was hurt because she quickly changed the subject. I said I better get home, paid for everything in 3 more rounds, and went home to my family. My sister came over the next day to yell at me for leaving and cutting them off after the 3 rounds I paid for. She said I owe her a do-over for ruining the whole weekend because I can't take a joke. Honey, who I of course told what happened, asked my sister to repeat exactly what she said about our daughter. My sister refused, and kept calling Decker Charlie's child, and I just was holding back so many tears. I told my sister that I wouldn't be contributing a dime to her wedding expenses, that I won't stop helping her pay her rent up until she moves in with her husband, but I won't be in or pay for the wedding of a person who sees my child as a mistake. Honestly, I was ready to go full-on Jedi and sever that connection, but Honey helped me temper myself. My sister lost it, threw the can of soda water we gave her at me, screamed, "How am I supposed to pay for this?" And I said, "You have over a year, you can save up." So left, shoving Honey out of the way in the process, and blew up our sibling group chat. My other siblings are split. Some think I'm overreacting with cutting off funds for the wedding, while others agree that my sister crossed the line and needed the wake-up call. Now, I feel bad for my sister. I do love her, and she is distressed by this, but I can't shake the feeling that standing up for my daughter is more important. Am I the bad person for refusing to pay for her wedding after that? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for breaking it off with GF after discovering she's kowtowing to a male coworker who has stated he doesn't like me? I have been with my GF for about 2 years. A while back, towards the beginning of our relationship, she invited me to some after-work gathering at a pub. I shot the breeze with some people that trying to just be friendly with strangers. One of those people was her proclaimed work BFFLA, 25M, and his girlfriend. I had a few exchanges with them about coffee roasting and his GFS career. Everything seemed like a friendly/cordial exchange. Well, as it turns out, My GF tried to set up double dates with them, and apparently he deflected the invitations with me until eventually confessing he's not a fan of me and thought I was rude to his GF and self-centered, allegedly. This is out of left field for me, as I don't recall anything close to an interaction that would have warranted that response, but I'll take it for what it's worth. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. Well, this situation with her coworker and his dismay for me was kept as a secret for basically a year. Within that time span, she's had a meetup with him and his GF where she framed it as meeting up with them while blatantly omitting an invitation to me, but I brushed it off, not questioning it, as I didn't want to seem petty and didn't expect any foul play. Fast forward to a few days ago, she mentions in passing that he sent her a birthday invitation for Saturday. Again, just a strange omission of mentioning it as an invitation to both of us, but I still don't question it, assuming maybe there's a miscommunication with her phrasing. So, the day of the party comes and she doubles down saying, "Hey, so I'm stopping by his party this evening." At this point, I just asked straightforwardly, "So are you just not inviting me to come with you?" TF is up with that? Mind you, I've invited her to basically every one of my family or friends' invitations. She deflects and redirects the conversation into an argument about how I didn't make plans with her yet and how I didn't see her the night before and so on. Basically diverting away from the simple question at hand. After pressing her again, she finally spills the beans, saying, "Yeah, he's not a fan of you," and gives me the alleged backstory. I was dumbfounded learning that he was sending her invitations while explicitly requesting to not have me involved, feeling like this guy at her work is basically trying to ostracize me from my own GF. That's not really my problem though. The main issue to me is that she catered to this coworker's request and went to his party and their previous meetup, as I've just learned, solo. Pretty much ditching me on a Saturday night for a male coworker's birthday party who's explicitly requested me not to come. I don't believe a loving partner in a relationship would do that. I know I wouldn't. If an opposite-sex coworker spoke ill of my GF and requested to hang out with just me, I'd think that was unacceptable and say, "Hey, maybe there's a way we can all break bread," or at least I'd decline her invitations, if it meant ditching my GF for it. So anyways, I told her I think we have different value systems and ideas on how our relationship should be, and that it wasn't going to work for me anymore. She didn't really seem to care, as she just texted back that my reaction was disproportionate and basically gaslit me, saying that I'm unhinged despite feeling like she betrayed me. So now I need to ask, am I the bad person? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for not taking the time to get to know my dad's wife or their kids together despite her trying many times over the years? Let me provide some background context first. My parents had me, 21F, together and broke up soon after. My mom was my custodial parent and dad had moved away by the time I was 2. There were moments of contact on and off, but he was never truly in my life. There was zero consistency to it. Then when I was 6-7, my mom died and I went to live with my maternal grandparents. My dad was still disinterested in parenting and my grandparents didn't want to lose me, so it was viewed as a win-win for everyone. I was where I was wanted and my dad didn't need to figure out other plans for me. He didn't play a significant role in my life at any time. That is still true today. I don't remember the last time I spoke to him. Any conversation was generally over the phone and lasted for 5 minutes or less. I was 10 or 11 when my dad got married. I wasn't at the wedding, never met his wife in person, and found out through my grandparents and not him directly. So that's the background. I'll add my point of the post. Ever since my dad got married, his wife has made attempts to get to know me. She called my grandparents a few days after the wedding and asked to speak with me and claimed she wanted to get to know me. I told them I didn't want to speak to her, so that time we didn't talk, or the next time she called, which was maybe a month later. The third time I answered the phone, and so we did talk briefly. She told me she wanted to get to know me and she was excited to be my family. I told her we weren't family and ended the call without saying anything else. She'd call maybe once or twice a month. Sometimes if I cut her off very early in a call, she'd give it an extra month before calling again. Other times my grandparents answered the phone and dealt with telling her no on my behalf. She'd use Dad's phone a lot too, so she could make sure someone answered. When I was 15, she and my dad had a kid together and 2 more when I was 17. With both pregnancies, she called to tell me, and she invited me to visit and get to know her better and bond with the babies. This continued after they were born. I did tell her multiple times I wasn't interested and wouldn't change my mind, but she never believed me. Or maybe she did and she was determined to change my mind. I don't know this woman to say either way. I never cared either way and my dad had no part in it. His calls were as disinterested as ever, and when I asked him to get his wife to stop, he asked me what he was supposed to do, and she was her own person and could make her own decisions. A few weeks ago, I was staying with my cousin for a bit and spending time with him, his wife, and their kids. Apparently, my dad's wife couldn't find me online, so she decided to stalk my family members, and she saw me in photos with my cousin's kids and even saw photos of me joining in for family days out with everyone. It annoyed her that I was good with kids and went out of my way to see my cousin's kids, but never attempted to meet the kids she has with my dad, and rejected all efforts she made to establish a relationship between me and all four of them, like her and her kids. She called my grandparents while I was out and basically called me all these names. They told me they had decided to block the number since Dad doesn't call anymore, and I was cool with that. But then this crazy woman contacted my aunt through social media and wanted her to pass along what she thought of my refusal to get to know them. My aunt blocked her too, but told me what had happened. Nothing happened since, which is good. But I'm annoyed she did that. And also curious if people outside my family think I'm the bad person for not doing it. I know my family might be biased, which is why I'm asking. Because I know Dad's wife and their kids aren't him, and the kids and I are related even if we're not family. So am I the bad person? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.